Welcome to today's graphic design tip of the day. For today's tip, we're going into Adobe Photoshop to learn how to merge two images together or swap out the background of a picture to make it more interesting. You can see on my screen here, I have this picture of a raven that was in London, and underneath it I have a bridge. So I'm going to be taking out the background of this image and adding the raven into the other scene as if it was looking off another vantage point at the bridge behind it. The first thing I'm going to do then is to drag this picture down. You can turn the opacity of that layer down as you're arranging it in the space to make sure it's set in the exact location that you want to. I'll put it right in between those two bridge posts and then bring that opacity back up. I want this rail to continue across the entire page so it appears to be another platform or bridge that he's on right now. So I'm going to start by using the clone stamp tool to do that, using my clone stamp and either Alt or Option if you're on a Mac. I'm going to grab one side of this bar here and then continue it across on my page. And I also don't want this shape up here at the top. So I do know that I'm going to get rid of a lot of it. I'm just going to go ahead and grab it with my selection tool. It's my polygonal lasso tool, and delete that part that I know is going to disappear. But then I still have some of this down here that's going to need to be healed. So again, using my clone stamp tool, I'm going to grab Option again, select part of this clean area, go over to the area that I need to swap out, align it as close as I can, and just click and drag over the top of that area to make sure that it continues across my whole page. Alright, now let's work on the rest of this background space. There's a couple ways we can do this. What I would recommend is adding a layer mask and then going through and using your brush to get rid of anything that you don't want. So I'm just having my brush set to solid black, and I can get rid of all the stuff that's out here in the background as close as I can. If you zoom in nice and close then to your subject, you can make sure your brush is tiny as you need it to be and go along the edge and remove anything that you want. I'm going to turn that up to 100% as I'm going around the outside here. The other option that you can do that might save you some time in this step is to use your object selection tool. If we can select the crow or raven and then be able to go to select inverse, you can potentially just make your brush really big and go around the edges and remove this a lot faster. You just have to be careful to the areas that it selected more than just the raven. All this up here is great. And down here on the bottom edge, like I showed you before, using that polygonal lasso tool, I can just make a nice clean straight edge right here, select that entire area, and again go with the brush tool and just swipe that out. And again on this side, polygonal lasso tool, draw a straight line right on that edge, connect back, and use my brush tool set to black to remove that. Now I'm only left with that small area right here up at the top. So very easy to go in here, make the brush as small as you need to remove any of that extra space. And anywhere that you need to fix up then to the other mask left behind, you can just touch up the little edges again, zoom in nice and close to be able to fix those as neatly as you can. The last touch I would do is going back with my sharpening tool and on the face or on the edges of the bird, make sure you are on that bird layer. You can just add a little bit more back to him for that sharp focus. Double check the color of your two images as well. Right now, the values in mine match pretty closely, but the background definitely has more shadows to it. So on my new layer that I have here, I'm going to open up my filter, camera raw filter, and increase my values just a little bit on this bird layer. So I'm taking some of the shadows and increasing them. I'm pulling some of the white values out. Okay. And as a last step too, I'm going to merge both of my layers. You can grab them both and hit Control E. I'm going to make a copy of that for non-destructive editing, and again open up my filter, camera raw filter one more time. Make my temperature just a little bit cooler. It's really going to bring the look of those two pictures together that way. And I can finish up if you'd like to, again with the effects and just a little vignette on the outside to bring your attention into our bird here. I hope you enjoyed today's graphic design tip of the day.